What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League podcast, back for a Thanksgiving edition episode. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Amanda. Amanda, happy Thanksgiving. This is gonna be a fun day of eating tons of food, hanging out with family, and watching some what looks to be some pretty good football.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I mean, the house already smells good from all the prep we've done, so I am stoked for some football and some turkey tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite holiday, favorite time of year. Football all day and great food. The Lions, play every Thanksgiving, and they'll be playing again at noon against the Green Bay Packers, the 4-6 Packers, your Packers, at the 8-2 Lions. Now, are you gonna double hedge it to where like you're gonna pick the opposing team, and then if the Packers win, you're gonna be happy either way? Is that how you're gonna play this one?
I mean, I just honestly don't think the Packers can pull this one off. We pulled off a great win last week. I was very proud of them. I had picked against them, so that was one of those situations where I was like, yeah, happy outcome regardless. But I mean, Luke Musgrave, Emmanuel Wilson, both on IR this week. We've got Aaron Jones who isn't playing.
Yeah,
We're just so beat up. Like if you look at the injury report of the Packers compared to the Lions have four players total, and only one of them is out. The Packers have 21 players on their injury report, and four are out, six are questionable, a couple are doubtful as of today. So I think the Packers are a hospital ward right now. And as much as I would love to have faith about them coming into this game, and I mean, the Lions don't perform the best on Thanksgiving. I mean, they've been playing this game since 1934. And
they
yeah,
got a losing record, right?
they've got a pretty strongly losing record. Let me find their numbers. I think they've won like 30. Let's see. They've won
Yeah,
37 and lost 43. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the reason football is played on Thanksgiving is because of the Bears owner back in 1934. George Richards wanted a way to promote his team. At the time, the Lions were 10-1. They played the 11-0 Chicago Bears. I mean, it was the most wins of any two matchups on Thanksgiving in history. So they, started out strong. But ever
Yeah.
since then, the Lions have played every Thanksgiving, and we've had a lot of really sad blowout Lions games. So I'm glad the Lions are actually competitive this year. However, I don't think Green Bay will be, so I don't think it'll be a good showing for the Packers with that many injuries.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think it will be competitive, and this is my reasoning why. I'll make the case for this game. Um, the Lions are coming off of back-to-back games where they didn't play very well. Their defense was non-existent against the Chargers. They had to win a shootout. They had to score 41 points just to win that game. And the against the Bears, their defense wasn't that good in that game either. Like Justin Fields comes back and has a real good game, both running and throwing. So I think that, and then on top of that, you got Jordan Love coming off of his first career 300-yard passing game and no turnovers. So he's feeling himself. He's got a little confidence. The Lions defensively are a little bit vulnerable. So there's no reason in my mind why the Packers can't put up, right around that 21 to 24 point range. And then on the other side of the ball, Jared Goff really struggled last week. And it's not like the Bears are a good defense. They're not an elite defense. They're not even a good defense. In fact, they're one of the worst statistically in the entire league. And Goff threw three interceptions and needed a miracle comeback just to win that game. So I know the Packers have a long laundry list of guys on the injury report. I think the majority of those guys are going to play. It sucks Aaron Jones is out. It sucks Luke Musgrave is out. But AJ Dillon can step up. Who's the other tight end? Tucker Kraft or something like that.
Yeah. But we
Um,
haven't seen a lot of production out of him. So
he,
I'm not sure if I trust him. I mean, AJ Dillon is in, you're right. Um, Emmanuel Wilson is gone though. Aaron Jones is out. So we've got, one solid running back and Dontavian Wicks, who stepped up really nicely as a wide receiver this past week. He is questionable as of this afternoon.
Hopefully he plays. They're going to need him. But you've also got Jaden Reed, who looked great last week, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. Um, I just as much as I mean, I'm not super high on Green Bay. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not. I think Detroit is hella overrated too. And you said it yourself. What do the Lions do on Thanksgiving? The majority of the time they lose. It's just what they do. And even if the Lions are the much better team, I think this is going to be a close game. And, you know, it could go either way. I really think so. And I sent you the picture of literally everyone. No one believes the Packers have a shot in this game. Literally everyone is picking the Lions to win. That's scary. That's dangerous for a team that always loses on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the Lions are 4-10 outright in the last 14 Thanksgiving matchups. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
could see the streak continuing. I mean that I don't know if I trust the Green Bay defense. We've got some key players missing. I mean the Lions offense is top 5 in rushing and passing yards per game. So I think they have a really balanced attack, and I get really concerned about that Green Bay secondary.
Yeah. To me, honestly, it's the run game. If David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs go off, then that's a recipe for disaster. But I want the ball in Jared Goff's hands. I do. I don't want them running the ball. I want Jared Goff to drop it back, throwing it, and
The Green
you
Bay.
know, yeah, throwing it to Green Bay, putting up some points on the Packers scoreboard. And not only throwing interceptions, but if you hit him, he'll fumble the ball too. So I mean, you know, this is going to be kind of the theme for me this week, but give me the upset. Give me the Packers in Detroit to pull it off. And partly too is I don't want to be sitting there eating my food rooting for the Lions. So
Sure.
I'm gonna root for Green Bay.
It's gonna kill your appetite. Luckily, it's the earlier game.
Yeah, exactly. But I
Something interesting did happen today, and I'm sure he's just there to record on the radio show. But John Kuhn, fullback extraordinaire for Green Bay, rolled into Detroit today. So I
okay.
I don't know what the plan is there, but nothing would make me happier than to see Kuhn thinking about suiting up for the Packers again. So that might be a an interesting locker room situation and conversation regarding that, if that's what he's there for, to talk about, maybe coming back.
Well, he's like Packers media, isn't he? Like I think he does a podcast or I've seen him
Yeah,
be
he's
on.
on the radio show, but normally he doesn't travel with the team.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, he rolled in with a suitcase with the players. So I'm like, all right, what are you up to, Johnny?
Nice.
Moon.
Well, I mean, look, all the optics say Detroit. They're 8-2. They've found ways to win even when they haven't played well. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna bet. You know how it goes when everyone picks one team, the other team's gonna win. The majority of the time. And when you double that down with it's the Detroit Lions, I don't care if I get this one wrong. I can't pick the Lions. Give me Green Bay on the road.
All right. Well, I'm gonna, go the safe route and pick the Lions and, just hope that I'm wrong. I'll lose a couple games on you this week if the Packers can pull off a win, because the
That's
team I think,
partly that's partly my thinking too, is that this is an opportunity for me to gain some serious ground, or I could be down like 6 games, but
yeah.
I'm throwing the chips in on Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, I mean, you mentioned that everyone is picking the Lions in this game. This week is such like these four matchups tomorrow and Friday are so lopsided with the picks and the
Yeah.
spreads and stuff. I mean, everyone is picking like the four obvious ones. So I would love to see some underdog blowout. Like I want something interesting. I don't want to see the Commanders get blown out by the Cowboys. I don't want to see the Packers get blown out by Detroit. Like I hope these are close, scrappy games and that these, underdogs really show up and take it personally.
My prediction, you can write this down if you want or whatever. My personal prediction is there of these 4 games, there's going to be 2 upsets. Like that's my opinion. Like you're not going to have when everyone thinks they know what is going to happen in the NFL, the opposite happens. And I think at least 2 upsets, if not 3. I really do. And some of
So
these aren't that big of upsets either. I don't get people going all in on like the Commanders and Cowboys. How is
yeah,
that? Yeah, I mean, I don't see that as a no-brainer.
I don't think that one should be either. I think the Cowboys have a slight edge in this one, but if you look back at the Commanders' past, I mean, games, they went into overtime against the Eagles,
Yep.
lost 31 to 34, and then played a really tight game down to the wire the second time they matched up and lost 38 to 31.
Yeah.
With a late game touchdown that pulled off the win for the Eagles. So they're scrappy and they put up a fight, and it's not like they're getting blown out in most of these divisional matchups. So I think that game might be your other upset there. I mean, the Cowboys have won 6 games by 3 scores or more. This is not going to be one of those games. I mean, Dallas has some advantage coming into this game. Dak Prescott's, passing, it's great. Washington has the third worst pass defense, so I think that might be their challenge. But I mean, that pass rush is also very good. And we know some, things about that quarterback in Washington. That man can take a hit. He gets, knocked down, sacked constantly in games. So I kind of worry about him surviving this game if that O-line doesn't hold.
Yeah, and the hits, protection, and then turnovers are key. But we know Sam Howell can sling it, right? He's leading the NFL in passing yards. He can be, a little reckless with the ball with the turnovers, but if I think the Cowboys are going to be super aggressive, right? Jumping routes and blitzing him and trying to force the issue. I think the Cowboys want this game to be over by halftime and to be able to enjoy their Thanksgiving. And if they're not careful, you do a double move or you miss one tackle, you get the ball in the hands of Terry McLaurin or Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel. They can go the distance. Brian Robinson as well. So this game, I think, again, I think we got 2 good games here that are probably going to be one-score differences.
Yeah, I think these two are going to be a lot closer than people are picking them to be. I'm
Yeah.
going to pick the Cowboys here just because I'm a bit more comfortable after Sam Howell is coming off that 3 interception game against the Giants last week. But I mean, he has the potential.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen his arm. We've seen some really accurate throws. I mean, I'm assuming this past week he's been focusing on this game and thinking about cleaning up the game and stuff. So I would love to see him have a game without any interceptions and, keep the Commanders in this game down to the wire.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Commanders just because again, it goes down to those picks, right? Everyone taking Dallas, and I just don't think it's that type of a game. And so we've seen, like you said, the Commanders play up to their competition. They don't usually get blown out, right? They're usually in the games regardless of who it is. And so, the Cowboys are definitely the better team. If you throw a pick six to Deron Bland, then you're probably going to lose. But if you avoid the turnovers and be aggressive and throw downfield, there's a chance that the Commanders can pull this one off. I'm gonna do it just to spite all these people picking the Cowboys. So I'm riding with the upsets. Give me the Commanders to go into Dallas.
Okay, I like that pick. I'm not even going to talk shit about that one. I mean, you've had some picks this season where I'm like, you're fucking off your rocker. But yeah, I think that game is going to be a lot closer, and I hope that game is going to be a lot closer than most people are picking. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, moving on to the 49ers against the Seahawks.
Yep,
Um,
a great game. I'm excited for this one.
has there been an official injury update on how Geno Smith is doing?
So Gino is expected to play. He is
Okay.
banged up, but he's expected to be able to go. Kenneth Walker is out, but not expected to go on injured reserve. So that's the good news there. But no Kenneth Walker. So it's going to be the Zach Charbonnet show in Seattle. Gino expected to play. Um, Tyler Lockett will play as well. He didn't play last week. He will play this week. And then also we got to remember Hufanga, the great 49er safety, out for the season with a torn ACL. So that's an injury for the Niners.
Yeah, I think the Niners are gonna, be riding on that perfect game last week that Brock Purdy had, and I think they're gonna come into this one a little bit cocky. And
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, I mean, they've had some interesting games where they haven't fully shown up, but Seattle isn't gonna give up without a fight, especially at home. Yeah, so I can see this one. I know everyone is picking the 49ers here. I think they're the better team overall, looking at all the parts. But
Yep.
Seattle's got some spirit, man. They're frisky.
Look, for anyone that's watched in recent memory, and not even that recent, let's go back 10, 15 years, even longer. 49ers at the Seahawks is never a gimme. It's never, oh, the Niners are just going to go in there and have an easy win. And I think that Brock Purdy having a perfect passer rating last week actually works against him this week. Like we've seen Purdy, people forget and act like it was so long ago when Brock Purdy was turning the ball over. And he can easily fall back into that, in my opinion. I don't expect him to have another perfect passer rating. I don't think he's quite Tom Brady yet. So he's still a young quarterback figuring it out. Um, in Seattle, with a pissed off Seahawks coming off a bad loss to the Rams, a game that they feel like got stolen from them that they should have won, if not for a missed kick. Geno Smith playing through injury. He's a gamer. He's tough. And I think that defense is going to come ready to go. And if they can force a couple turnovers, there's no reason why the Seahawks can't be absolutely right in this game. And we'll see who finishes it out in the end, right? And getting Tyler Lockett back is huge.
Yeah, they definitely missed Lockett last week. And I think, I mean, with the lead of the NFC North on the line in this game, I mean, they're fighting over that first slot. So I think it's
Yeah.
gonna probably mean a bit more to Seattle because San Francisco is comfortable.
Yeah.
Like they
And
are
they
riding
really,
on that perfect game.
yeah.
The thing I worry about most is we saw what happened when Geno Smith left the game last week and Drew Lock had to step in. If that
Yeah.
happens again, I think it's probably going to be Chase Young's fault. I mean, he was a great addition to that dominant pass rush. And we've seen Geno Smith kind of struggle when, the pocket is tight and there's pressure on him. So I'm worried that, Smith is going to have to step out of the game and Locke is going to come in and, have multiple turnovers.
Yeah. If Locke comes in, then, it could get ugly. But
Yeah.
for a Thanksgiving night game, I think that this is going to live up to the hype. I really do. People looking past the Seahawks are, I don't know why they would, right? I know that uh, Kenneth Walker being out is a tough loss, but everyone loves Zach Charbonnet too. He's a hell of a running back. So feed him, get him going, and get the ball out quick. As long as Geno plays and can stay in the game and doesn't get hurt again, I see no reason why this doesn't go right down to the wire with a chance to win it. And in Seattle, you know this, it's always tough to go into Seattle, especially late November.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen how Seattle operates later in the year. They tend to warm up at the right time. They start clicking late in November and then they, make a run for it. And with the NFC West on the line this week, I think Seattle's got a pretty strong chance here. So all that being said, are you going to pick Seattle in this one or are you going to take the Niners?
No, give me the Seahawks at home.
I love you and your underdog picks. I feel like I'm just going to go opposite of you for all these games and just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Because I
So
could see, in all of these games, we've had these teams not show up one week and then show up the next week. So I could see either team winning in all three of these matchups. And everyone is predicting a very obvious winner in all four of these games. And I don't think it's going to be that lopsided.
yeah, I agree. And I think the most two likely that are close and potential to be upsets are these two, Cowboys Commanders and Seahawks Niners. Like I agree with you. I don't see the drastic difference here. I think they're going to be great games, and I'm riding with the upsets.
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Should be an interesting game of thanks or day of Thanksgiving games.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm excited for Friday, right? We don't often get Friday football, but Black Friday, I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff, 7-3 Dolphins at the 4-6 Jets. And the Dolphins, so the Dolphins kind of struggled at times against the Raiders last week, but they're 7-0 against teams that are 500 or worse. The Jets come in at 4-6, they're reeling. But they do make the switch to go to Tim Boyle over Zach. They bench Zach Wilson, put him at third string. And we talked about this last night. I think Tim Boyle provides a little bit of a spark. I mean, unless he I know he sucks. I know he's not very good, but Zach Wilson's been playing so bad of late that you have to kind of assume that Tim Boyle's going to provide something, right?
Yeah, and he's been kind of Aaron Rodgers' henchman for the last few years. I mean, they have a an interesting relationship. He's kind of always there in the shadows behind him, so he has to have picked up something.
Yeah. And do the Dolphins come in here and look past the Jets and think they're going to cruise to an easy win? You know, think that, oh, if we put up 17 points, it's a dub, right? And Tua in recent history has shown an ability to turn the ball over as well. So if the Jets can, and this is the recipe, Tim Boyle doesn't need to be Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. He just needs to protect the football, feed Brees Hall, try and get Dalvin Cook going, and then the short passing game and play defense. And that defense is very capable of forcing some turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that defense perform really well in some games and kind of carry the win. I mean, there's been games where the defense has put up more points than the offense. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, if that defense stays going strong and Tim Boyle just doesn't turn the ball over, he doesn't even need to make these big, massive plays to win games. We've seen the team pull off wins with, very low scoring, like 17 point, 21 point situations. I mean, we don't need the explosive big plays here. We just need a clean game where you're not turning the ball over. If Boyle can pull that off, I mean, it could be close.
Yeah, I mean, let's look back at the Dolphins' last two games. They scored 14 against the Chiefs, and they beat the Raiders 20-13. They scored 20 points. So that Dolphins offense isn't putting up 70 like people remember, right? And the Jets are a much better defense than either of those two teams, in my opinion. And a lot of people are going to be looking at the way the Jets played against Buffalo, and that's the chance. This is the pick where it could go sour and could go sideways, and it makes my pick look really bad, like what the Bills did to the Jets last week. But I don't see that happening. I think the Jets defense might be feeling better about Zach Wilson getting benched. It might provide a spark, and feeling like maybe Tim Boyle can keep this game competitive. And if we play our best game defensively, we'll have a chance to win.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some good mix-ups in this one. I'm gonna let you roll with the underdogs and I'll take the obvious leaders just to see how it plays out. I mean, I'm tempted to take the Jets here, but I think we should just kind of keep going with our trend and see how the week plays out. Um,
Yeah.
some Thanksgiving trivia that I found interesting,
Okay.
that I kind of want to bring up to ask you about. So, Troy Aikman had 455 passing yards versus Minnesota in '98. Do you think any of these games gets anywhere close to that on Thanksgiving?
458 passing yards?
455.
No, I don't.
You can't see
Uh,
Sam Howell doing that?
no, I don't think Sam Howell does it. I don't think Brock Purdy does it. I don't think Tua does it. And I certainly don't think Goff does it. And it's interesting. You point that out, 1998, and we think about how physical the league was back then. And you're not seeing these huge, massive numbers like we should be seeing in the NFL. The way the game is officiated, it's so in favor of the offense, and yet you don't see 500-yard passing games or even 450 that often.
Yeah. I'm
Crazy.
wondering, I mean, we know Brock Purdy is coming off that perfect week and he's riding high on that. There's only been two quarterbacks with perfect passer ratings ever on Thanksgiving. Tom Brady in 2010 and Dave Krieg in 1994. Do you think he's eyeing that to tie him up and be included on that list?
He shouldn't be at all. Like,
Yeah, I think
pass,
that was a fluke.
yeah, like who cares about a perfect passer rating? Like if you do it once, that's awesome and congrats and whatever. But this is too big of a game and too important of a game to be thinking about anything but the dub. Like if the Niners trip up and lose this, suddenly you're tied for first place and the Seahawks have the advantage. The tiebreaker. So the Niners cannot afford to be distracted in this game. This is a much tougher game than people are thinking, for sure.
Oh, I agree. I think they need to forget about the stats and where they're at in the division and last week, and they just need to focus on, hey, this opponent actually brings a lot to the table, and we need to be ready.
Yeah. I mean, even that playoff game last year, Seahawks at Niners, and that was a competitive game through the first half. Like, and and the Seahawks are better this year, in my opinion, than they were last year. So no Jamal Adams, no Jackson Smith and Jigba, no Bobby Wagner last year. They're a much better team. So
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. I think you might be right about the two upsets, and I'm gonna hold on to my picks, the obvious ones, but I'm really hoping for a couple upsets here, even if it helps your numbers.
well,
Um,
you've got a nice 3 game buffer, and it could go all the way up to 7 before Sunday. But I I think it's likely that we split. I really do, and I think we'll be sitting at 3 games going into Sunday. But it's an opportunity for me. If I win all 4, I get a 1 game lead. So
if you win all four, that would be the craziest Thanksgiving like set of games. Like I would love that, honestly. Like at this point, like I don't even care about our competition. Can you imagine if the Jets pull off a win, the Commanders pull off a win, the Packers like I would love 4 upset games. That would be fucking fantastic.
yeah, and we talk about all the time how much parity there is in the league. And on paper is one thing, on the field is entirely different. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm ready for some interesting football. I mean, the most points ever scored on Thanksgiving were 87 combined, Detroit and Green Bay, not shocking. Do you
Yeah.
think we're gonna have a high scoring game like that?
No, I don't. I think it's lower scoring. I don't think the Packers even probably get to over 21, and their recipe for success is like Packers 20, Lions 17.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
they
only
need to
game
keep
I
it.
could see that happening in would be Commanders Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I
So
think I think Niners Seahawks is lower scoring as well.
yeah, they're very strong defensive teams there too. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see which team pulls off the highest point total just for our curiosity in that one. But I mean, two quarterbacks have thrown 6 touchdown passes in any Thanksgiving game ever. That was Bob Greasy and Peyton Manning. I don't
Yeah.
think any of these quarterbacks this week are going to be able to throw 6 touchdown passes. I think these are very defensive games, very scrappy matchups. I don't think we're going to see any of those crazy blowout, 40 plus point offenses this week.
Yeah, we've got guys that are capable of it. Dak Prescott is capable of it in the right situation.
Yeah, if he's
Brock
playing
Purdy,
Carolina.
yeah, right, against a bad team. Brock Purdy could do it. He's got the weapons around him at least to do it. And Tua, we've seen them be explosive, but not against this Jets defense, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean that Jets defense has been carrying the team, so maybe they're sick of it and they have an off week, but I can't see a repeat of the Denver Miami game at all.
Well, the Jets defense being sick of it and having an off week happened last week, right? And the floodgates opened up and they allowed 32 points to Buffalo. The benching of Zach Wilson and the promoting Tim Boyle to a start, I think, provides a spark and gets this defense to zone in on this game and say, "Hey, let's give it one more run here to try to win a couple games before Rodgers comes back."
Yeah, if they can get back up close to or at 500, I mean Rodgers is back at practice in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That would be the time.
yeah, it's a huge game. Again, there's too much on the line in these games for it to be a no-brainer and a easy win. Like in all 4 of these, really. Even Green Bay. I mean, you say no expectations and whatever, and I know they're injury hit, but even Green Bay, they're coming off the best game of the season, really. A big win over the Chargers. They put up some decent points. Jordan Love throws for a lot of yards, no turnovers. This is the week to put it together back to back and then start believing. If you're in that Green Bay locker room, you have to be hyped for this game.
Yeah, I would if our team was the exact same as it was last week, the same players on the field, I would absolutely be taking Green Bay here, but I'm really worried about those missing players this week.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the majority of them play. If all those guys that are hurt actually don't play, then yeah, the Lions probably win. But it is the Detroit Lions, so I can't pick them.
That's fair. I mean, Darnell Savage is going to be a tough loss for Green Bay this week. He's out. So
Yeah.
I think he would have been very, very key in pulling off a win here. It just makes me worried. I mean, it's it's been a tough season for Green Bay. They're the only team this year to go into a bye week and come back with more people on the injury list. Uh,
Yeah.
so they've just had a string of bad luck and a lot of under conditioned players with, kind of residual injuries that keep popping back up. So hopefully those, stop biting them in the ass. But I would love to see them pull off a win, even if it means I'm wrong.
But they were pretty injury hit last week, weren't they? I mean, I know Aaron Jones played,
Yeah,
Musgrave played, but they still had quite a few injuries.
we did, which is why I haven't really been on board with picking them. But I mean, some of our key playmakers. Luckily, Jaden Reed is fine. He's
Mhm.
playing. He had, our first Lambeau leap of the season, which was beautiful. So I would love to see that happen again. I mean, but Dontavian Wicks, he was a playmaker last week, and he's still questionable as of today. So I don't know
Yeah,
if, like, if
I
he
did
doesn't
see.
play, it's going to be a really tall ask. And we had two running backs going IR today.
Yeah,
So, or a
that's
tight end and a
definitely
running
tough.
back. So,
I did see your boy Christian Watson catch a touchdown pass last week. Maybe he turns a corner and starts playing better.
yeah,
They're
he
gonna
makes
need
me
him
nervous.
to.
I feel about him like I feel about Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like, you're so talented if you could just be consistent. Um,
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs as well. So
Yep.
they have both made some amazing plays for the team this season, but also some really bad misses and drops. So yeah, we'll see. I'm, again, as I've said all season, I had no expectations. So, we finished with 5 wins this season. Good for them. You tried. Participation trophy. Let's work on it in the off season.
Hey, if you guys only win 5 games this season, then I'm rooting for my Bears to finish third. I don't want to finish five or worse. So you got something there. You don't want to finish worse than the Bears.
I know, but I mean, you guys aren't in a complete rebuild. We're the youngest team in the NFL. Like,
We're still in the rebuild.
I mean, you guys have been in a rebuild for the last, what, 30 years?
Yeah, we're definitely in a coaching staff rebuild.
Yeah. But I mean, like, player wise, our players are babies. I mean, our average age is, I think, 9 months younger than the next youngest team.
Yeah,
So they're allowed to take a year to kind of like click and, figure each other out and build up that rhythm. I was perfectly okay with that this season, but they keep giving me hope in every game, which pisses me off. Just lose, okay? Stop getting me invested. It's not good for my blood pressure.
they're gonna get you invested tomorrow.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
calling
I'm ready. I'm having cocktails for breakfast.
it. So I'm excited, man. I think we're in for a much better uh 4 games here than people think, and I can't wait to watch football all day tomorrow and just stuff my face with food.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I hope everyone who has, taken some time to listen to this as you're finishing up your Thanksgiving prep, comment and tell us you think that Alex is off his rocker or you agree with him and I'm just taking the easy picks this week. I would love to hear some feedback on if you agree with Alex or if you agree with me that it's going to be a pretty expected day of wins. But yeah, we'd love the feedback, everyone. So shout us out while you're, throwing that turkey in the oven.
Hell yeah, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a great holiday. Enjoy the football, enjoy the time with your family, enjoy the food. It's my favorite holiday. So much good food, and we're in for a lot of good football. Good football. I can't wait for Friday football as well. So it's going to be a great weekend. And then how about your Michigan Wolverines? The game on Saturday, Michigan Ohio State. This weekend is full of great football.
Yeah, I was at the grocery store last night and there was a very large man shopping with his wife. Ohio State hat, red and white shoes, gray sweatpants, Ohio State sweatshirt. And I waited till he had just passed me before I shouted out a go blue. And he's like, "No, man, y'all gonna get your asses kicked." So, Ohio State fans just get so cocky. I always am concerned going into this matchup, especially, Sans Harba. But I would love, 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 love Michigan to pull this one off. This
Yeah.
year more than others because, Michigan versus everybody. So definitely will be glued to the TV for that one as well.
Yeah, so great football weekend. Enjoy it, fans. Appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Good shit as always, Amanda, and have a great weekend, guys. Peace out.